What's up YouTube, JoshahOfAllTrades here, and I don't have a TV review for you this week because I'm not on the next show yet. Westworld ended and I'm at that weird time period where I haven't started my next TV series. I am looking for the next show that I want to watch. I'm looking for shows that other people are going to be interested in so we can have a conversation and that we can enjoy watching it together. And shout out to 007 Smith. He was picking my mind about The Young Pope, the next big series on HBO starring Jude Law. Now, when I first saw the previews for this show, I wasn't that impressed with it because I just didn't know what it was. I was under the assumption that The Young Pope was some sort of like documentary biopic miniseries about a real pope. And because I'm not Catholic, like it's cool, but it just didn't really appeal to me. But it seems like that's not what it is at all. It's more of a fictional show about a scenario in which a young man is coming to power. It's more like a political drama about his rise to the top and what he does while he's there. Young Pope has already premiered across several European countries and it's getting really good reviews. So I think this is starting to change my mind and I'm getting interested in The Young Pope. It's probably going to be the next show that I'm watching. That being said though, the other show that's kind of on my radar that's not something I would typically watch is a new show that's coming out for the winter season on NBC. It's called Emerald City. This one's just coming out of left field because it doesn't have any huge names in it. I'm not familiar with the cast, but just the idea though, because I grew up watching Wizard of Oz with Judy Garland all the time. I watched that movie 200 times in my life and I've loved it, and so now I just have this affinity for anything Wizard of Oz. So when I saw that there's a show coming out called Emerald City and they have a series exploring what Dorothy does in the land of Oz, it really appealed to me. From what I've read on IMDb, in Emerald City, more or less, this was going to be a Game of Thrones clone for NBC. They wanted something in the fantasy realm that was going to bring in a bunch of viewers. Now, when this happened like a year ago or so, upper management at NBC said, hey, this is too much like Game of Thrones because it was more about the different factions and everyone's doing their own thing, and they didn't feel that there was a centralized lead character. So they sent the script back and they had it rewritten. And now there's a trailer out for the first season. It looks pretty decent, and I don't know if this is a show that I'm going to watch all the time, but I'm definitely going to sample the first episode or two and see what I think of it. In terms of cinema, I haven't seen anything this weekend, but I will give you the update. I saw Allied the other day with Brad Pitt, and that was a pretty good film. I think it's definitely in the running for a nomination for an Oscar. But next weekend, we got the big bachunga coming out, Star Wars Rogue One. This movie looks great. There's a lot of hype around the film. It looks really promising, and it's one of those things that for my generation and for most generations of Americans anyways, it's going to be a huge deal because we all have this crazy good nostalgia about Star Wars as a series. Let me tell you a story real quick. As far back as I can remember, the release of a Star Wars film has been a huge deal. Like, I was too young for the original ones, of course, but when episode 1 came out in 1999, I was 10 years old and I was flipping out over this movie, and I didn't have any Star Wars shirts, but I was reading like some fantasy like Star Wars book that goes on in that universe, and it came with one of those iron-on patches that like you take a white shirt and you put this thing over it and you iron it on. And it says Star Wars, but it looks like super out of focus and blurry. So even though I was 10, like I had this ghetto Star Wars shirt that I knew wasn't that great. So then on top of that, I had like a magazine with some Star Wars pictures, and I cut them out of the magazine by hand and taped them onto my shirt. And that's what I wore to the Star Wars Episode 1 premiere. So this has always been a huge deal. I've seen all the movies that have came out in my lifetime on the opening weekend. I'm definitely going to see Rogue One on the opening weekend, and I'll be putting up a review of what I think of that movie. My reservation, though, with what's going on with Star Wars is that since Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney, I feel like there's potential for this to turn into like a Marvel Avengers type thing where they're just pumping them out, because Star Wars The Force Awakens just came out last December 2015, and 1 year later, December 2016, we have another Star Wars. And so who's to say that we don't have another one 2017, 2018? And what I was saying a second ago about Star Wars releases being a huge deal, like I want them to be that. I think in my mind, as messed up as this may be, I think a Star Wars release is like something sacred that you shouldn't mess with. And so I don't think Disney or anyone should trivialize the Star Wars movies by making it an everyday occurrence. And I certainly hope Disney doesn't do that. But all that said, I am looking forward to Rogue One and I will be seeing it. I'm going to solicit some feedback from y'all, and I want to know, What are the movies that you plan on watching in the next couple weeks? What are the series that you plan on watching starting in 2017? And what's on my radar that I need to be aware of, and things that you think I should start watching? Thanks everyone for watching. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit me with a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get notifications about my new reviews. If you're traveling, it looks like it's going to be getting pretty cold this December, so stay warm wherever you're at. Everyone stay safe, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.